Good day to all. Welcome to Straight Talk with Greg Middleton. My name is Alexandra. With this introduction, here is Greg.
Good day to each and every one of you, and welcome to my show, Straight Talk. Today I have a couple of concerned citizens who are going to talk to you about the Jackie Robinson Community Center, kind of a rebuild of it. Today I have Horace Wormley, who's a retired city employee, is that correct? And Gene Washington, also retired? The reason this intrigued me is because this is falling right in line with the theme of this show, is to try to build some community coalition. As I've often said, our world is broken and it's not going to fix itself unless we do something. So this is all talking about the Jackie Robinson Community Center, which should be a hub for our community, correct? Yes. So tell me in fact, how did this come about, this proposal to revitalize the community center?
Well, a group of us got together, concerned citizens, and we kind of formed a advisory group for the Jackie Robinson Center. We talked to the new, she'd be the superintendent now, and decided that we wanted to assist because after the pandemic, which lasted a couple of years, things kind of really went awry, and it was like the center is being built back up again. They had to start from the beginning almost as far as programs and services because they was dormant during the pandemic, and also we had the homeless programs going there. So that's where we decided we wanted to assist the superintendent and also the city's director of the programs and services. So that's where how it came about. And we were looking at the time, there were very few programs and services going. They were just trying to get up and going. This is say like in the summer of this year, of 2022. So that's how we kind of initiated and got off the ground with 6 of us.
And we want the center to become a real community center,
right?
Not just focus on seniors and adults, but the entire community as well.
I don't think people are quite familiar because there's Robinson Park across the street, and there's Jackie Robinson Community Center.
It's always been the case. Some people, when you say, we ask them, you come over to the Jackie Robinson example, we had the young man was coming to do a walkthrough, and he went to Robinson Park across the street, you know, and that happens all the time. There's the Jackie Robinson Center, the community center, and then there's Robinson Park, which is across the street. And the Robinson Park is, you've seen it, it's nice.
And Robinson Park is a recreation
center.
Right.
Now, I understand that the community center itself is like outdated, isn't it? I mean, the building has it been updated since it's been constructed?
Well, the building is old. It's 50 years old. It was established in 1974. And it took the name of Jackie Robinson.
Right.
And everyone should know, hopefully they know who Jackie Robinson is.
42.
He's an icon, one of the giants of the 20th century. And he wasn't just a baseball player.
Right.
He was civil human rights activist, and so when they took the name and asked, they had to get requests from the family to use Jackie Robinson's name. So his wife Rachel, who's over 100 years old now, she's still she's still with us. She wanted to make sure that center reflected the legacy of Jackie Robinson. In other words, what he stood for as far as services and programs had to come out of there to reflect what he believed in. And that included, like you just said, families, youth, adults, and seniors, all of the above. And that's what we call a multi-purpose community center, not just one segment of the population.
And we do feel like the facility needs some upgrade. We think the grid needs to be improved. It has old from the original construction there. So we definitely want to see some upgrade to that facility.
What about things like computer terminals and stuff like that, wiring for things like that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The grid. I mean, when it was originally built, we didn't have
computers. There were no
computers, and so in order to do a computer lab, we need to definitely be able to have the appropriate ability to plug them in and operate them. And then you have staff that operate computers, and there are other machines in there as well. So definitely, they do have a computer lab there, and that's one of the things that we're really advocating and pushing is to have that back up and going again. Not just for the adults, but we think there are some young people in the community that will benefit from that computer lab as well.
In your committee, have you guys talked over what something like this could cause a rebuild, or is that something that you do or suggest?
No, well, we have to reach out to the community, also our local representatives, and which would be local, state, and federal if necessary. An example would be, we did a walkthrough a couple of weeks ago with Justin Jones, who's the representative for District 3, council member. And when you go through that walkthrough, if you ever go into Jackie Robinson Center, and one of the, like I explained, the young man that went accidentally over to Robinson Park, and then he came over to the center, and we did the walkthrough. But when he was at Robinson Park, they did a quick tour for him while he was there for a few minutes. And he came to Jackie Robinson Center, and it was very glaring that the place was old.
Right.
I'm saying that the floors needed redoing, the ceilings had old structure, tile up in there from, I'm talking 30, 40, 50 years ago. So the other thing is, when you walk into, say, in a facility like Robinson Park, it's newness, it's open, it's bright. It's got sunlight going through, as opposed to when you come into Jackie Robinson Center, it was nice, say, in 1974 and maybe 1984, but in today's modern world, it's a little dark in there, and you go into certain areas. And the other thing is, in the center, when we did the walkthrough, there's a lot of open space that needs to be occupied with community nonprofit organizations, because we did a lot of collaborations over the years with other groups and other organizations to make that place vital, make it occupied, make it programs and services, not only from the city providing services, but nonprofit groups would come in and provide services also. And they would use this facility as their base.
And to your question about the cost, as part of our walkthrough, we understand that staff has done an assessment and pointed out some of the areas that needs improvement. So we would rely on the experts to price those projects out.
So as your committee, you're trying to just initiate the project, correct? But it has to be funded, which has to go through the city. Now, who owns the property?
The city of Pasadena.
So is their obligation to update their own property, isn't it?
You would think.
Yes. But my point is that we want to make certain that the facility is up to date. And so that's what we're pushing, what we're advocating is that someone get behind. We're behind it, but someone from the city side would really get behind to make certain. Just don't do cosmetic stuff.
Piecemeal. And one of the things that like we feel is, if you show the powers to be, council members, the mayor, the city manager, if they see in person what what it looks like, and then encourage them to go to Robinson Park, go to Villa Park, look at there and see the comparison. We've done, Martin and myself went through Villa Park, and we got to see clearly the difference as far as, and the differences, and one of the things is, I think we mentioned that Villa Park, Robinson Park, and also Victory Park, they're on park locations, and so they qualify for the park initiatives.
Right.
Whereas the center is standalone, even though it's right across the street from Robinson Park, it's standalone and it doesn't qualify as being on a park facility.
Well, tell me this, Gene, and that's a very interesting, that was going to be my next question. What differentiates the Jackie Robinson Center from the Jackie Robinson Park? Now, I know you have a lot of programs you want out of the center, and the park is a regular park for recreation and fun, correct? What's the difference?
Well, Horace would be clear. It's called, our department, the department was Parks, Recreation, and Community Services. That's the name of the department. Jackie Robinson Community Center is under that department. So Robinson Park is under that part, that because it's a recreation center, and it's also a park, same as Villa Park and Victory Park. So they're all under that department. We're under that department. So, but the problem is, like I said, is the initiatives go for the parks. And Jackie Robinson Community Center, even it's a community service. It's part of the community services, but it is not on a park facility. Whereas Villa Park has it's Villa Park Community Services. That's the name. That's its name. But it happens to be on a park facility in a park.
And although Robinson Park is actually physically located in a park. Jackie Robinson Center is not located in a park. Victory Park Center is in a park. Villa Park is in a park, although Villa Park is a combination of recreation and the community services side of the operation. Although it exists that way, we know that in the for the funding of the Robinson Park, there was HUD money. There were community development block grant money. There were city general fund dollars. So there was, I believe there was some private funding as well. So what we're saying is that let's get to work. Let's check out the grants that are available. Let's see what's available from HUD. Let's see what's available from CDBG. Let's go out and see if we can get private donations and contribution, because as we talked about it from the very beginning, the Jackie Robinson Center, Community Center, is a hub in the community. And we want to make certain, I think our concern is that continue to represent what Jackie Robinson was all about.
And you just hit what I was getting ready to go to. Now, to be a hub, which means like you're the center of the activity and everything goes around it, especially for our community. And I'm not trying to say this is a white or black thing, but it is centered right in a brown and black community. So we need to make sure that facility is like, if you want to go to East Pasadena or West Pasadena.
State of the art,
State of the art. And we got to stop being second place. You know, we got to stop being second.
Greg, that's our challenge, to reach out and to get funding. Like Horace just mentioned, because funding comes from all different sources. So if we have to, that's what we're here today for, is to bring awareness to the community, the powers that be, that there's a need, and in order to do that, it's going to take a lot of different aspects of funding, and it's going to come from a lot of different sources. So, and we're saying that there is a need, and if you don't believe us, we encourage City Council, 2, 3, 4 of them, to come and do a walkthrough, and look and see. We encourage the mayor to do a walkthrough and look and see for themselves what is. Once you see it and do the comparison, then you say, well, you know, well, how can you ignore the iconic Jackie Robinson named after him? You know?
And as you alluded to earlier, it's a city facility. So there is an interest in maintaining that facility and keep it, making certain that it plays a vital role in the community. And the staff there, I think, has already done an assessment of the facility. And they have some suggestions in terms of, you know, where the improvement should take place as well.
And I just thought of an idea too. What kind of programs do you intend to run out of facilities? Because if you're running health services, aren't there some partners who could partner with you financially to help with health services, social services? What other kind of services do you intend to run out of that?
Well,
homelessness or?
Yeah, well, that's another one too.
What kind of
in
programs?
the past, like I said, it was a multi-purpose community
Right,
center.
right.
So we tried to encompass whatever the needs of the community
Right,
are.
right.
And to make it, since it was, like you said, it's in the hub, it's in the center, it's in Northwest Pasadena,
Right.
and it's easily accessed, and people know about the center, as opposed to going up to the health department sometimes. Maybe it might be a little difficult. So
Very
what
good.
we tried to do was provide preventative health options. In other words, we provided, when people used to do the flu shots back in the day,
Right.
we would do the flu shots for the seniors. They would come in, and we would have hundreds of seniors come in
Right.
and get flu shots. We did a series of health screenings. We did prostate health screening and educational forums. We did breast cancer screenings and educational forums.
Right.
We did colon cancer screenings and educational forums. When I say the educational forums, I mean that we have the nurses come in,
Right.
RNs, we have the phlebotomists come in and do the blood testing. We have dietitians come in and talk about the diet, for preventive of cancer prevention. And we had to collaborate. We collaborated with, we did a collaboration, and they all, like the health department, their chief RN with one of the collaborators. We had the wellness community, that's another collaborator.
Right.
We had American Cancer Society, that was a collaboration. We had City of Hope.
Aren't
All
these
of those-
also funding sources, though? Like,
Well, they picked up the funds.
right, right.
They provided those services.
Right.
But in addition to that, we had consumer action type programs,
Okay.
landlord-tenant issues,
Right.
Domestic violence type of issues. Right now they do immigration type of issues.
Right, right.
But we also had stuff for programs for high school and teenagers, like SAT class on Saturday.
After school tutoring for elementary age kids now. I'm talking 3rd, 4th, 5th graders.
Right.
And then we had math and science tutoring
Right.
for middle school and high school students. And those were taught by volunteers from JPL.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so part of what I'm hearing now is that Robinson Park
Okay.
is where they want all of the teens to go.
Okay.
And Jackie Robinson Community Center would only serve the adults and seniors.
Is that
primarily,
your plan?
Primarily.
Is that the plan? Existing plan?
That's my understanding of how they're operating currently.
And our contention with that is that we feel that anything for youth orientated
Right.
should be for youth enrichment. In
Okay.
other words, when I say
As
enrichment,
opposed to recreation across the
Right,
street.
right.
at
when
the
I say
park.
enrichment, I'm talking about educational
Exactly.
enrichment. Prepare. In other words, an example would be like the Jackie Robinson Foundation. That's they provide scholarships
Right.
and to get youth to get ready to go to college. So we would like to provide programs and enrichment programs that would be able to. So, an example, we had a group come in there, NACE Center,
Right.
Neighborhood
NEY?
Yeah, Neighborhood Empowering Youth.
Yeah.
And what they have is this extensive computer and robotics training for
John
youth.
Smith.
Yeah, John
Yeah.
Smith,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
For youth, they were part of that tour we did with the city council member. We also the steam coders.
Yeah.
That's another
Right.
educational.
Raymond, yeah.
Right. So that's what we feel that we could provide other than let Robinson Park do the recreational type program, and we would provide youth enrichment with toward education.
Well, tell me this: could a companies like NEY and Steam Coders have a facility at the site there? Is that possible?
That would be lovely, wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean-
if they had space there where they could come in
Right.
and operate their program. That's what Gene is advocating right now, what he's talking about at this present time. Let's have that presence.
That's why
Let
we
that be
invited-
one of the enhancement
Right.
educational programs.
Because over the years, I've gone to Jackie Robinson Center for a number of different things, but it seems like over the years, it's mostly older people use the center and the younger people go across the street. But if you're going to have a true community hub, like I said, enrichment things should be ran out of this center too, because like recreation is recreation, but you here talking about business.
Right, right.
You know.
Well, I totally agree with what Gene said. I think those types of enrichment programs should be operated from the community center versus over at Robinson Park. I mean, I'm not opposed to Robinson Park having a computer lab. I think that's important.
They need that.
But at the same time, I think the types of programs that Gene just talked about should be operated from the community center.
Now, remember, Greg, that we're all under the same department.
Right.
You know, it's called the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services. So
what I'm trying to find out, though, Gene, is
we're not in competition.
what the money? I'm trying to find out where the money coming from to do the kind of things you want.
But where
does that come from?
Horace mentioned.
Well,
I mean, do you have to go through the city manager and
everything
like
has to go. That's a city facility.
Okay.
So everything.
Am I jumping ahead too far?
No. I mean, obviously you have to have funding in order to do this. I don't. There's a CIP, capital improvement budget. I don't know where we are in terms of getting in it. From what I saw, they have a budget through 2024, I believe it is. And I did not see the Jackie Robinson Community Center in that CIP. But I would still advocate that we get into that budget. But at the same time, it's what I mentioned earlier. There's a community development block grant. There's HUD. There's private funding. There's other grants that I think we could look into that would help support the financing of that of what we're talking about.
So what he's talking about is the funding sources. So those are
Private,
examples of funding sources to come up with the money to do what needed to be done for the center.
I think we should staff should just start looking at how do we identify the areas that need the improvement, and then I try to go out and identify the source of funding, even if it's private. You know, let's try to secure those dollars.
And I really commend you and your entire committee, because nothing will get done unless people like you come together and say we need to do something.
Right.
As a volunteer base, you then decided the passion and you have experience with the city. You know? But I mean, you're not getting paid to do this. So I'm just trying to find out, how do we get the ball to rolling? You know, how do we get the ball to roll? What's the first step we need to do?
It's a part of a process.
Okay.
We can't skip the process.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm trying to understand. How do we get the ball?
And one of the processes is, this is a process.
Okay.
Getting the information out to the community, letting the community, and not only the community, but the officials know and understand what's going on with the center, how it's in need of that renovation, and how it's special to the not only the community but the city.
Right.
It's special. It's iconic. You taking the name of Jackie Robinson.
Right.
So you got to impress upon that. So you have to keep the legacy going. You just don't want to ignore the Jackie Robinson Center. You know, and one of the things that we say that when that center was put up in 74, 84, 94 maybe even, a lot of the people that were around at that time are no longer here.
Right.
So some of the people that are here now don't understand a lot of the legacy of the Jackie Robinson Center and what it's supposed to provide as far as programs and services to the community. One thing I'd like to see is anyone that works at the center, and whenever they come into the center to work in the center, to sit down and get a education on the legacy of what Jackie Robinson stood for and the programs and services, what he wants to do as far as the community. So you get a feel, the passion for what you want to provide for the community. And that's what, when I did it for 12 years, I had a passion for that. You know, I saw things that need to be done in the community. I just wanted to mention one other thing when Horace was bringing out consumer action programs.
Right.
We had a court-assigned anger management classes.
Ah, that's nice.
And then you had, you know, for anger management and domestic violence, those were in the evening time, you know, like from 6 to 8 o'clock in the evening. We had those. See, it was a variety of programs.
We had pro bono attorneys.
Right.
Attorneys would come in on Saturdays and provide services from the LA County Bar Association.
You know, I'd like to see, even because this whole notion of community policemen, you know, they're afraid of us, we're afraid of them. But it seems like they could do seminars or something out of a center like that to make people feel more comfortable. This is not like we got to break that barrier some kind of way.
Yeah, that's another aspect. Yeah. I think they do that. They do it at probably at Robinson Park.
Right. We don't want them there, but come through and let us get comfortable with you.
Provide.
Yeah, I have a different opinion on that. I think the police department need to get out and do more.
Of course.
Up close, out front. Real
walking the beat.
Walking the beat.
Yeah.
But in the past at the Jackie Robinson Community Center, we've had roll calls where they've actually met there and given out their assignment for the day. I just think that from my perspective, at least back then, the police department needed to be a little bit more welcoming, if you will.
Right.
And I think that that's going to take some type of, they're going to have to work on that.
Right.
Before they come out to the community. So.
Right. We have only a couple of minutes left, and this time go by so fast. We barely covered anything.
Right.
But the thing is, I want us to somehow figure out a way to get rid of the stigma of race. I mean, you look at what's on the west side, it don't compare to when you go to the east side. Why aren't these things equal?
Well, that's a history. It goes back.
Let's go way back.
I'm talking we're rebuilding. Let's be all right.
And I think we made some progress. I think there's more to be done in those areas. I just think that, because I can remember when, street sweeping wasn't done, or our trash collection wasn't done right. We don't have those issues, or street light was not working right. I mean, we don't have those issues. We're moving in the right direction. What we want to do is to make certain that the facility is state-of-the-art facility.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then we can invite any and everybody to come and be a part of that.
To give you an example, Robinson Park is a state-of-the-art facility. It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's well done. I mean, there's some glitches in there that we would like to see done. An example would be computers in there for the youth. But that's some progress.
Right.
And all we're saying is we don't want to stop. Once we make a little bit of one step forward, you just don't want to stop. You want to keep moving. And an example of keep moving would be, let's get the Jackie Robinson Community Center upgraded.
And we would invite any and everybody, regardless of race or whatever, to be a part of the revitalization of this particular program.
Our time is down to 10 seconds, but how can someone help? Is there something people can do to help, or is there any number or something people can pitch in? Or?
I would say the first thing is to go to the city council.
Okay.
And talking about the whole city council.
Okay.
Because all city council members know of the Jackie Robinson Center. They know who Jackie Robinson is. They know what it stands for. So go and tell them what's going on at the center.
Right.
The center needs to be upgraded.
And advocate that the facility be upgraded.
Well, gentlemen, we are flat out of time, and we barely touched the surface. Could I get you guys to come back and as we get this ball rolling, to discuss how people can get a little more actively involved? Because if you go to the community, say, look, we're doing this for us.
Right.
But let's see if anything moving forward happens.
There you go. Let's don't say if, Gene. Let's don't say if.
Okay,
when.
When.
Okay.
So if, are we still on?
Yeah, and we want to continue. We want to Jackie Robinson legacy to be forever here in Pasadena.
There you go. So that ends it for our show today. Of course, we've gone a little over time, but we'll bring this back and these two gentlemen back so we can talk about it a little more. Everybody have a good day out there.
Good day to all. Welcome to Straight Talk with Greg Middleton. My name is Alexandra. With this introduction, here is Greg,